get drunk, right, and you wind up having sex with somebody, why would they consider it rape when if you get drunk and you get in the car and you kill somebody, they can consider that murder?
What?
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
What I'm saying is, when you get drunk, why can't you be held responsible for your actions? I mean, why can't you be held for consenting to consensual sex?
Yeah, but I have no idea what you're saying.
What he's saying is,
if you have sex with a woman who doesn't have the ability to consent because she's intoxicated, that's rape.
No, that's not what I'm asking.
Yes, it is.
What he's saying is, I think what men is trying to capitalize on.
No. Yes, it is. It's called intoxication rape. If you have sex with a woman who's intoxicated to the point where she does not have the ability to consent to sex, that's rape.
What do you mean when you say like ability to consent? Like
if she does not have the ability to consent to sex, that's rape.
So what?
She's intoxicated to the point where she does not have the ability to consent, that's rape.
No.
That's rape.
What if she agrees to it?
That's what I'm saying.
Doesn't matter.
Regardless,
it doesn't matter under the law. It does not matter.
But no, we're not talking about
it. Doesn't matter.
This is what I'm saying.
Hentai.
This is what I'm saying.
Matter. If you know she's been drinking and you know she's intoxicated and she does not have the ability to make rational decisions, if you know this, that is rape. There was a very famous case. There was a very famous case. If I remember correctly, it went to. I can't remember which state Supreme Court it went to.
So what if you're intoxicated as well?
There was a criminal case. It is in the criminal code. Yes, it is, Larry.
Wait. Stop.
He's not lying.
Wait a minute. Ooh, stop. So let me get this straight. Pretty much what you're illustrating to me is that it is against the law for you to sleep with an intoxicated woman because she's too motherfucking drunk.
Yeah.
To make a rational fucking decision?
Yes. That's
but I didn't think
that is rape. That's rape, Larry. How could it?
But check this out. I understand that. What you're saying is.
Okay, so Uber, what if they're both drunk? Is what I'm asking.
No. What you're saying is you're kind of responsible.
If they're both drunk, that's different. But if a man is sober, it's the same thing with a woman. If a person is sober and they know that someone is drunk, and they use the fact that they're drunk, the fact that they cannot make a rational decision to consent, as a way to have sex with them, that is rape under the law.
No, but I understand that. But what I'm saying is this:
because
you know you could do things that you won't normally do under having your full.
Hang on a minute. But that's what I'm saying. You keep saying this ability to consent. What? Give me an example of what you mean. They do not have the ability to consent. Give me an example.
You know when a person is drunk.
No. That's not what I asked you. I told you to give me an example. Like, give me. Larry goes out to Club 700. He meets Stephanie. What does Stephanie do before we end up in bed together? Is she passed out?
No, not passed out. Slurring her speech, inebriated, intoxicated.
Inebriated. Hang on.
Wait. You said give you an example. Let me give you some examples. Drunk to the point where she slurs her speech. Has diminished capacity with respect to her motor skills. Can't think reasonably. Can't think rationally. Can't form coherent sentences.
Well, that's fucking most of the women I know.
Hey, I'm just telling you what the law is. That's why. Me personally, I wouldn't have sex with a woman even if she was only tipsy. I wouldn't do it.
But you know what? You know what? This is. I just changed my stances on this, but only for one little reason. Okay, I could still hold a woman. For me, I think that she should be responsible because when you get drunk to that fucking point, you can.
It is your choice, but here's the real big deal. You have sex with a woman
that's intoxicated? What if she consents to having unprotected sex, and what if she gets a virus or some shit like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, so what if you infect somebody and you say, well, it was consensual? You see what I'm saying? So you kind of got to be responsible for that person in terms of that.
Hang on a minute. But this is what I'm saying. This idea that I could meet a woman in a bar and I'm not drunk. Clearly she is, and I know that. But if she, like, let's say if she invites me in, does that still count as fucking rape?
Yes.
Yeah, if she calls
here's my thing.
Even if she's coming on to you, it counts as rape.
Hang on. And here's my thing, Hikari. That's bullshit. Why? Because it completely dissolves the other person of anything that they did leading up to that event. We don't excuse drunk drivers for being fucking intoxicated when they get behind the wheel of a car.
No. But here's the difference. When you get behind the wheel of the car, you're responsible for other people's life. When you're drunk and you're trying to have sex with somebody, that's not the same thing. You're not doing something that causes a risk to somebody else. That's the difference between when you get in a car and you're drunk and you invite somebody to have sex. Two completely different scenarios.
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say that the difference is...
Wait. But let me just say this so that there's clarification on the issue. The prerequisite for all legal sex is consent. That is the prerequisite for all legal sex. Both parties have to consent. In order for both parties to consent, they have to be capable of consent. In order for you to be able to consent, you have to have the ability to make your own rational decisions. You can't be under the influences of any psychotropic or mind-altering substances. Otherwise, you can't consent by definition.
Well, I would say this. In terms of the drunk driving, right? You're the only person there. You're drunk driving, so you're the only person responsible. But in terms of sex, then there's another party there that has the ability to make the decision for both of you that's in his right state of mind. So I can see that being the difference between the two.
I just think it's more.
But here's my point. I understand that, but why I still say it's bullshit is because this. You keep harboring on this. You have to be able to consent. You have to be able to consent. You have to be able to consent. Hikari, look me in my face and tell me that you've never heard of that shit being fucking used immorally or being used fucking incorrectly. How many fucking cases have you read yourself of women who have lied on the stand?
Wait. You can't use the fact that other people have lied as a reason why the law is wrong. I can. You just can't do it.
I can.
No, you can't. Think about people who claim that they were robbed, but they weren't really robbed. They just wanted to get back at somebody. Does that mean that all of a sudden robbery should now be legal? No, of course not.
No,
you can't use the actions. Wait. Let me finish. You can't use the actions of a minority of people who incorrectly use the law as a reason for why the law shouldn't exist.
Wow.
No.
Would it be possible that the law was safeguard?
No. You're misinterpreting what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this. You don't use the actions of a minority as ammunition for why the law shouldn't exist. But you don't use such a fucking weak-ass variable as the linchpin in a fucking law like that. You should have. There should be more. No.
Listen. Listen. It's not a weak linchpin, and here's why, Larry. In the United States of America, the burden of proof is on the prosecution. So the woman can't just get on the stand and say I was intoxicated. The prosecution has to actually prove that she was intoxicated to the extent that she couldn't consent. That's why the burden of proof is always on the prosecution.
So pretty much the idea is since you're the one that bringing up the case, you're the one that has to do the most work. Therefore, the law is automatically in your favor.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I'm not sure I understand you.
Well,
it's always in your favor as a defendant because the prosecution always has the burden to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you committed a crime. The burden of proof is always on the prosecution. The prosecution can't just stand in front of the jury and say, well, look at here, jury, this woman was intoxicated, therefore you must convict. They actually have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. The burden of proof is always on the prosecution.
Yeah, but
in fact, that's why rape cases are so incredibly difficult to convict on.
Yeah.
Like this is what Larry's saying. This is where I agree with him on this point. You're responsible for, like what they say, drink responsibly. You're supposed to make sure that you don't get drunk to that point. But if you do, you know that you might do something that you will regret later on. So why shouldn't they be more responsible for that? But also, hold on. But the reason why, at the end of the day, I kind of switched my mind and I would choose because there are consequences that can be had for said actions that you have the wherewithal and the faculties in order to make the decision, but they don't. You see what I'm saying? So I would put most of the responsibility on the person that actually has the ability to make said decision. Because what if the person winds up with AIDS? They're gonna say,
but here's another thing that people don't understand. There's a difference between moral culpability and legal culpability.
That's true.
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
And
that's where I think that's where we're fucking that's where this fucking breakdown is happening. That's where this fucking disagreement is occurring. Because here's my thing.
Yeah, it is.
Because here's my thing. I've been drinking for damn near 4 years now. And every time I intended to get fucked up, guess what? I stayed my ass indoors. My homeboy's throwing a big fucking New Year's Eve bash or whatever. It's like, well, guess what? We gonna lock ourselves in. We gonna get fucked up where we can't even see anymore. So we ain't driving. We ain't leaving the house. We ain't going no fucking where. Why? Because we'll end up doing some dumb shit or have dumb shit happen to us. I don't go out in public intoxicated. I don't go out in public high. And the closest situation I have ever been in, when I was in mixed company and I was fucking impaired, guess what happened? I left. I removed myself from those fucking people and I went and fucking sat in solitude. Because I didn't want nobody to see me impaired. So that someone could decide to make me a victim.
Right. I understand exactly what you're talking about.
The problem is not explanatory.
And look, and here's the thing. I don't, and I'm sorry, I'm tired of people keep using this fucking excuse at me, because it's getting to the point now where I want to start killing motherfuckers over it. This whole bullshit about, well, Larry, they're not you.
It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with being a responsible adult.
Well, I can say
they're fucking capable of it.
Morally,
that's what I agree too.
In terms of morals, I'm kind of on Larry's side because you know what the fuck you can wind up doing when you get drunk, so you gotta do responsibly. But at the same time, in terms of legality, I'm kind of on Uber's side because at the end of the day, let's say there's two people in a relationship, right? One person makes, let's say, 70% of the total income. The other person makes 30% of the total income. So if they have bills and responsibilities that this money needs to go towards, I would say the person with 70% of the income should be responsible for 70% of the payment. Another person with 30% of the income should be responsible for 30% of the payment. So if two people are consenting to sex, but the one person is not capable of it and the other person is capable of it, he's actually responsible for 100% of it.
Right.
Because he's the one with 100% of capability, the other person has 0% capability.
That's true.
And look, and here's my thing, and here's another thing. Another point I want to reiterate why I don't agree with that shit. Look, if you would have came to me 3 years ago and said, Larry, no, it's because the unimpaired person, they should know better, and they're responsible for the impaired person. If you would have said that 3 years ago to me, I would have agreed to you. But guess what? I don't give a fuck.
That's what happened.
I've seen. I
would say that's not only.
He became a sociopath.
Legally culpable of rape, but it's also from my standpoint, immoral. It's immoral. That's why I never, ever will have sex or even attempt to have sex with anybody who's even tipsy. It's immoral. It's unethical. It's unethical to see a person in a compromised position and take advantage of it. It's just unethical.